Hello and welcome to Cover Story. While all eyes are on the road to 2024, the next general elections, there is also another event that's going to start happening, I think from the end of 24 and all of 2025. That is the RSS Centenary. So today we're going to be delving into that and talking to RSS leader and author Madhav, who's with us today. And also you are I think the face of the RSS that we all know, at least all journalists, TV people, and you've been someone who's, if I use a crass commercial term, marketing RSS very well to the people who don't know. So welcome to this conversation.
Thank
you. Just a little bit about the changing face of RSS. We've seen, because we had this whole perception of RSS as, as a Sanghi, very narrow traditional outfit, but we are seeing a different face over the years. So can you just take us through the transition?
Contrary to this perception sometimes and misunderstandings some other times, the RSS has always changed with times. I have been an RSS functionary for more than 4 decades now as a full-time functionary. I have seen the organization changing from time to time, accepting, adopting new things, adapting to changing situations. So, there no doubt are perceptions about RSS. We always jocularly say RSS is difficult to understand and easy to misunderstand. So there could be perceptions, but
through no fault of
throughout RSS has changed. Yes, you see a greater public outreach from the RSS side today, which was not so much. It was not there in the past. But today you see even as RSS chiefs proactively reaching out to newer sections of the society, including sections who considered RSS as probably not so friendly with them, like Muslims, Christian leadership. Even to them he has reached out today. That's why there is greater visibility
on that. In fact, I was just reading an article by Walter Mead in the Wall Street Journal, which came out I think last month, where he's written very interestingly saying that from a fringe of mostly marginalized intellectuals and religious enthusiasts, the RSS has become perhaps the most powerful civil society organization in the world. Civil society organization is one that takes everyone along. So you spoke a bit about that. But why this sudden, now we're actually having the RSS Sarsangchalak making out statements, trying to bring out, reach out to the Muslims, the Christians. He's been holding meetings with all of them also. We saw, a group of 6-7 Muslim leaders meet him recently. What is happening?
No, firstly we must understand that Walter Mead is a very highly respected columnist of Wall Street Journal. He is also an academic, also he is a member of a very prestigious think tank in Washington DC.
So when the foreign media writes well about them, you are okay with them?
No,
when they write badly about you, then you say we don't...
That's why I am coming to that point. I have not completed my answer. So Walter Mead is not one of those people who never came to India, never spoke with the RSS people, never spoke with the RSS leadership, always got carried away by certain individuals here who had vested interests about many issues and who had certain critical view of RSS. Mostly the Western media writes depending on their inputs that they get from these sections of the people. In Walter Mead's case, I can tell you, if today he is calling RSS the world's largest civil society movement, we always claimed RSS to be a civil society movement and world's largest movement also. But today if he is saying he did it after engaging with the leadership, he went and met the RSS chief himself. He had extensive discussions. He met with BJP leadership. He also met with our critics. He didn't meet only with us, and he is a very independent journalist. So that also shows that today RSS is open to people engaging with them. So those critics who write against us in international media, we invite them, come and talk to us, understand our viewpoint. Organizations evolve. The RSS also has evolved. So where we stand today, what is our world view? If one understands, one would certainly concur with what Mr. Walter Mead has said in that article. In fact, that is where he emphasizes that probably the Western audience, Western academia and intelligentsia has to engage with them to understand what they stand for. So that probably there can be better understanding.
But he says that from being, marginalized and fringe elements, initially the comments also, used to be very fringe-like to, very radical statements. Now those statements have also tempered down a bit also. So is the RSS also realizing that they have to, take everybody along and not just appeal?
There is a tendency to link everything that is said, that is considered, rabid or fringe-like statement. There is a tendency to link it to RSS. But RSS has always been consistent in its views. Where it has to change its views a little bit, it has changed. For example, I tell you, after thorough discussion, we took a position on even on the LGBT question.
Yes.
We were one of those civil society organizations who came out quite early in 2009 and 2015 to say that decriminalization should be imminent. Criminalizing gay and lesbian relationships, Section 377 of the Criminal Procedure Code, it should go. This stand was taken by RSS after deliberation. So RSS also has evolved over years. So that
Where is RSS on same-sex marriage? Because that's come up before the court.
I know today that issue is before the Supreme Court. Government has taken a position which we all feel is the rational position. While in 2018, decriminalization, basically the removal of Section 377 has happened, thereby decriminalizing lesbian and gay relationships in the country. Whether you can give institutional status of marriage to those relations is a question which is very animatedly debated, not just in India, Priya, you must remember. It is debated globally. Not all countries have ratified it so far. Certain countries have done it, certain countries have not done it. So, as far as India is concerned, our view is making that relationship, taking it to the level of an institutionalist and very sacred relationship of marriage is probably not acceptable, will not be accepted by Indian society.
But if it's debated in Parliament, do you think it's something that Parliament should take up?
Oh yes, that's why I said it's a matter for greater debate. That debate should happen. Even I am sure even Supreme Court will take into account the fact that that issue requires whether we can give an institutional status of marriage to that relationship, that requires great debate, more debate in the society at various levels before Supreme Court also comes to a conclusion.
Okay. So before I interrupted you, were telling me
how when I say that, I am not passing any value judgment on those who are living together or those who have certain relationships. Human relationships depend on many factors.
Right.
Emotional factors will be there, certain other factors will be there. I am only saying whether you can elevate it to the status of an institution called marriage. There, lot more debate is needed, and that's why I think government also took the position that they cannot support any immediate move in that direction.
But you are in favor of uniform civil code. That's the BJP plank and the RSS plank. Does this in any way, because the people are saying that a uniform civil code is one size fits all. It's not going to work for even same-sex marriages or religious marriages.
Oh, that's why I'm saying. First of all, rather than using the word uniform civil code, we should use the word common civil code. Common on major issues, there should be certain common understanding. We all should follow certain common. When it comes to probably the details, rituals, maybe each religion will have its own ritual, its own way of implementing it. But on basic, like, how many children, how many wives should be there, how do you handle, the inheritance, how do you handle divorce and all those things. And that certain common understanding is there. It's generally called common civil code. In fact, there also this question will come up. If the marriage is not between a man and a woman, but it is otherwise, then how do we make it a part of that understanding of common civil code? So that's why I'm saying many issues need to be debated. So it requires more time, more understanding before we take a final decision.
So how do debates happen within the RSS? Do you debate within, or do you also engage people from civil society and welcome outside opinion?
RSS is a very open organization. Our day-to-day activities are held in the public grounds. and they are open to everybody. Anybody can walk into the activity and participate and express his views. That way we are very open. We have a system of discussions. We have annual meetings that take place, main national level meetings take place 3 times in a year. So there we take up these issues, but subsequently we never take any final view. We subsequently, such issues, they are put to discussion at various levels. These days the RSS chief engages with greater sections of the society. He engages with intellectuals, he engages with media people, community leaders. There also these issues are discussed. So then, based on the opinion that we gather from many of these experts, a final view is made in the RSS.
Because now I'm seeing a lot of people going to Nagpur who ordinarily would not be catching that flight. Even what you people look at saying page 3 people, Lutyens Delhi crowd. But a lot of them are being welcomed there. They go, they click selfies with the Sarsang Chalak, they come back. They have they're also very happy with the feedback and the conversation they have with him. So which is why I'm wondering, ye pehle nahi hota tha ye sab.
No, so number one, one reason is the RSS has come to occupy the national center stage today. That's what even Walter Mead said in his article. Number two, there is that greater openness today in RSS to engage. Anybody can come, walk in and have a dialogue with RSS leadership, then form his or her opinion. So that openness is there in RSS. I'm sure once people come to the RSS, engage with RSS, then they realize that probably some negative perception sometimes one gathers from certain sections of media and all is inaccurate.
And the article also says that the RSS, if I've understood correctly, the need of the hour is to focus on economic empowerment rather than discrimination, especially religious discrimination. We've heard statements from Mohan Bhagwat also saying that, which is again very surprising. We are seeing the BJP also now, telling his members to go to church, is winning in northeastern states, been asked to reach out to Pasmanda Muslims. So we are seeing, is the BJP doing what it first criticized the Congress of, namely appeasement politics?
I worked in India's minority dominated regions as General Secretary of the party.
Which?
Jammu Kashmir and entire Northeast. Other than Punjab, these are the states which have Hindus as minority and non-Hindus as majority. So in that sense, they are minority majority states.
Okay.
There we worked. You ask the leaders who worked with us there, whether they are chief ministers from other parties, we have had comfortable relations with all of them. So from the beginning, RSS has always talked about 1.4 billion Indians. For us, we are all same citizens of this country. But when I say this country, we don't consider this country to have begun in 1947. We say this country has a long history, long culture, long civilization. Everybody in this country, irrespective of his religion, is the inheritor of this great tradition, great civilizational cultural tradition. Why not accept it? That's all.
So long as we say we share the same DNA and we all Hindus.
DNA is a scientific term, yes.
We all
our
Hindus.
chief did use that word. It's more scientific for that matter. DNA also involves many others in our neighborhood also. So we are basically saying culturally, civilizationally, we belong to the same stock. Okay. Religiously, we may be different.
But we are all originally the same. So if
we all came from
but
the
we are
same
willing
stock.
to come back and admit that we are all the same. If Owaisi says I was originally a Hindu, you will be happy with him.
No. It's not the question of originally Hindu or not originally Hindu today. The question is, I proudly inherit that great civilizational cultural past of mine. While I am a proud Muslim, I am a proud Christian. That is what we expect. I am a proud Hindu also for that matter. But I also accept this great cultural civilizational past of mine. Whatever is great in that, whatever is not great, we discuss. That is what we expect. When I say this, we are not saying something which is very new. India has had leaders from Muhammad Karimbai Chagla to Abdul Kalam who had happily accepted and lived the cultural civilizational tradition of this country. Muhammad Karimbai Chagla, in his Roses in December, in his autobiography, openly wrote that by religion I am a Muslim, but by culture I am a Hindu. Ustad Bismillah Khan used to sit in Kasi temple and every day he used to use his Shehnai to sing paeans of God. That doesn't diminish his religious identity. He is as proud a Muslim as anybody else.
Okay.
That is what we want. We never said that in this country no other religion should be there.
Okay, before we take a break, I want one more question on the issue of caste. The RSS always has been saying that, for instance, on reservations should be not on caste basis, should be on economic basis, whatever. Yet, in terms of practical politics, you cannot ignore caste.
No, first of all, we never said anything against the present reservation system. We said that the present reservation system, which has been brought in through our constitutional, system, was needed at that time, continues to be the need of the hour. It will remain until its stated need, stated objective of bringing up the oppressed classes of our society on par with the rest of the Indian society. Number two, that caste discrimination, that attitude is completely removed. Caste may remain, I don't know caste whether they will remain or go. Ideally, everybody wanted a casteless society. That may remain, that dream may remain. But whether castes remain or don't remain, why should there be a casteist discrimination? Why should hierarchy of castes? That hierarchy of castes should go. Some caste is higher up, some caste is lower down. This discrimination should end. That is what RSS leadership, Bhagwatji and others have been saying.
That's a very nuanced way of putting it. But I'm going to take a break and come back and keep this conversation going with Ram Madhavji. We're also going to be talking to him a bit about what is happening in the G20 and of course in our neighborhood. So after a quick break. Hello and welcome back to a cover story conversation with Ram Madhav. Ram Madhavji, we were talking about the RSS and the issue of caste, but that is an issue that India is alone not grappling with it. We are seeing it percolate outside also. The US, for instance, is also handling this issue. So, where do you see this? It's instead of dying down, the caste is now becoming more and more prevalent everywhere. This discrimination is happening.
You are right. Ambedkar had once said that unfortunately, wherever Indians go, caste follows.
Oh.
It probably has been a reality. We still have caste identities, irrespective of whether we live in India or outside we live. The main point is it remaining like any other identity? My language is my identity. My family is my identity, surname is my identity. Similarly, caste is one of the identities of multiple identities I have. Is it remaining like that? Or the so-called hierarchical caste belief that somebody is an upper caste, somebody is a lower caste, you discriminate against him, you ill-treat him, is that also a reality? Now, the debate in the USA recently has been that the evils of India's caste system are there in USA also. So, US should recognize caste as a day-to-day reality of South Asians in USA, and then you have to bring laws against caste discrimination. Now, what we are trying to say is, of course, first of all, any discrimination should be opposed.
Right.
If there is any caste-based discrimination happening in USA, that must be opposed by entire Indian community there, entire Hindu American society there. What we are saying is, while we do say that no discrimination should happen on the basis of caste, whether in India or in USA, to try and create caste as a day-to-day reality in America is being done by certain vested interests there. That will lead to lot of complications for the entire South Asian community in America. Now, there was a Cisco case. Cisco is a famous tech company in, it has its headquarters in West Coast, in California. There, one employee who self-identified as Dalit, he complained against two of his seniors, stating that they discriminated against him on the basis of his caste. After 3 years of investigation, California state government's civic rights department has thrown out that complaint. They withdrew that case. They said, we don't have any evidence. The reason is that very employee was hired by these people for a generous package, first of all. He has been working with them for 8 years. Never was there any case of discrimination. On this question whether caste debate should be entertained in the West or not, I am saying discrimination debate should be entertained. No discrimination should happen. But where here we are trying to overcome casteism in our Indian society here, we are working, and I mentioned to you about statements by even RSS chief and all that. there, if some veteran interests try to create casteism in USA, that will be very unfortunate.
There's another thing I want to ask you about, since we're talking about practices abroad, is early on, especially the rise of Modi government, the Hindu identity became a matter of pride. But now we are seeing more and more cases of Hindu-phobic, instances, hate crimes against Hindus. In the UK also, we're seeing a lot, US also. So what is happening?
In fact, today there is a report that has been commissioned by a prestigious think tank in UK. About this whole school level teaching, how a subtle Hindu hate is being taught to children.
Right.
As though Hindu society means a caste-ridden society, their discrimination, oppression happens on a day-to-day basis. Now, this is a kind of stigmatizing the entire society, which is a wrong portrayal. But today, even on those issues, there is a greater realization, greater debate is happening. One Baroness level leader in USA stood up against this kind of portrayal of the entire South Asian or Indian Hindu society as casteist and oppressive community. It's wrong. So, this is now acquiring global proportions, I know, but it's being done by certain vested interests. That's what I'm saying. Those who do not like the rise of certain thought process in India, as I said, today we are at the center stage. So those who never liked us, they find that they don't have any acceptability or any receptivity in India. So they are doing all this campaign abroad.
So this is the left liberals' reaction to the right-wing rise. That's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Those who have been discarded by Indian people are today finding voices in US and other countries, but they don't represent the Indian reality.
But BBC has also come up with reports on the anti-Sikh riots. They do this, so just ignore them. Instead of reacting, raiding their offices, doing all this overreaction on part of you just say as if there is a fire.
No, other actions, whatever have happened within certain legal framework.
But
certain
it's a bit of overreaction.
There can be discussion about it. There can be debate over it, but nothing was done illegally. Na? That's the point I'm making. As per the law, certain measures have to be taken. They were taken.
Okay, so what is the government hoping to gain from G20? Is this going to be the grand set-off for the campaign for next year?
You see, India in the last few years has been making an impressive kind of impressive rise. It is registering very impressive story of India is unfolding.
It's
now
being
that
marketed.
that story, one can say it is being marketed by say, but then when G20 leadership comes here, they will see it with their own eyes. Not just the leadership, summit level leadership that will happen in September. Through the year, hundreds of delegations are already coming and will come in the next few months. They will see what you are saying is as marketed. Is it just marketing, or is there a reality? Is India transforming from within? How is India able to register such kind of an economic growth, 6+%? Today China in this quarter with great difficulty has been able to register 4% growth rate, GDP growth rate, whereas we have been consistently registering above 6% growth rate in spite of COVID and in post-COVID. This story the world will see. Plus, contrary to propaganda, how India as a society is today having a harmonious, united life, they will see that contrary to description, here a prominent Muslim gets prestigious Padma award. Here, Prime Minister, others there will be some rabid statements coming from some people here and there. India is 1.54 billion strong country it is, a very big country. But as a government, as leadership, how the government tries to treat everybody with utmost dignity and respect, people will come and see. I would say that will be the greatest success for BJP. It's for the government, its economic successes, its developmental successes, but also success as an ideology, as a philosophy, how they built a more cohesive, more united India that they can showcase. That's why the slogan was, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, one earth, one people, one future.
Well, we know what happened last time we tried to do this. When Trump came visiting, we were putting our best foot forward and Delhi riots happened. So, there are some things.
So I hope that the vested interests who created that kind of situation would not probably dare to do any such thing this time.
On that very poignant note, I would before I let you go, I have you here with me. I can't not ask you about your former friend, former governor Satpal Malik. He's been lashing out at you, at Prime Minister Modi, at everybody else in the BJP also. He's made a lot of statements against you. I know you filed a defamation notice against him, but he's alleging that there were some bribes, or he said first bribe, then he's backtracked on his own statement also. But what exactly happened?
Now, whatever he said is just the opposite. What he is saying is absolutely untrue. I am not coming out to give any statements about it for two important reasons. One is, when he first made, without taking up my name, when he first made certain statements implying that somebody from BJP with RSS background tried to influence me, etc., etc.
Influence a project in the valley.
In 2021, I immediately wrote to the government, both the state government and here senior leaders. It's on paper. I sent a letter asking the Lieutenant Governor of Jammu and Kashmir to immediately institute an inquiry. This was towards the end of 2021 when he started making these statements. Funnily, he never made such statements. In 18, in 19, in 20, in 21, end of 21, he started making certain wild allegations. Immediately I wrote to the government. Government responded by instituting an inquiry in 2022 April. These cases, I said actual conspiracy has to be unearthed. Why these two cancellations
so you actually
happened?
Pushed for
I actually demanded it. Then an inquiry has been instituted. Case was handed over to CBI. CBI has been investigating the matter. We all submitted our statements. We all gave our statements to them. They have spoken to Mr. Satpal Malik also. Ideally, after the case was being investigated by CBI, Mr. Malik should not have talked about it. I am not talking about it for that one reason. We have given our statement because I myself demanded inquiry. I gave whatever I have to say. The reality is totally opposite of what Mr. Malik is saying. That whole facts we gave to them, the CBI. Secondly, today since I issued a notice for defamation, I would rather say whatever I have to say in the court. Definitely, when we file the defamation case, because it's a patently untrue statement, it's definitely damaging to a person like me, but it is patently untrue.
Well, he's not stopping at you. He's going to, I think, everybody in the BJP hierarchy also. So, I think Satpal Malik. But there is a disclosure here, very important disclosure, that a CBI inquiry was also going on pushed by at your request, I would say, if I may say that, into the matter. So, we'll wait and see what happens and what develops on that front. But on the RSS point of view and India's place in the world, thank you so much for that conversation.
Thank you.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.